Ladies and gentlemen, we're having a little bit of technical issues, so if you'll just have a little patience with us, please. I'm sorry for the delay. So we're going with Plan B. Hold on just a minute and we'll get started. It's 6:07. The Germantown Board of Education business meeting for October is called to order. Before we get started, if there's anyone here who is here to speak, to address the board during this meeting, please make sure you've completed the form that's sitting out in the lobby and submitted it to Ms. Subramani here in the front in the beautiful scarf. And we can make sure during that period of time of the meeting you're available. You will have that time to be heard. Let's start this meeting with a moment of silence. Mr. Strain, if you would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. The chair will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
The motion was made to approve the agenda by Mr. Curry and seconded by Mr. Strain. Ms. Subramani, if you would take roll.
Ms. Griffith,
Yes.
Mr. Strain,
Yes.
Ms. Landers,
Yes.
Mr. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Oaf.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're now at the recognition and awards section of our agenda. Mr. Manuel.
On October 5th, Houston Middle School's girls soccer team won their state championship. The game was against Lakeland Middle at Houston Middle and received the title of the West Tennessee Sectional Champs. Quote from Wendy Prokosky, "We were undefeated this season," said their proud coach, "and we had 2 or 3 games this year where we won by only 1 goal. The girls never quit working hard, and all ages and grade levels were equal contributors. HMS girls soccer team consists of 27 players with 6th, 7th, and 8th grade players working toward a common goal." We're proud because anytime our students achieve, we know they're representing us in the classroom, on the field, and we know the hard work that the parents have put in, carting students back and forth to practices, to games, that our sponsors, our coaches are putting in those hours where you're practicing and people don't see it on the field. We know that success does not come easy. We're proud that you represent our schools. We're proud that you represent Houston Middle School, and we look forward to seeing you do it again. So at this time, we are going to recognize the players. So when we call you, if you'll come up here and get your certificate, and then stay up here so that we can get a picture with everyone at once. Kate Wingfield, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced some of the names. Kelly Bahan, Cameron Stumpf, come on up. Lila Talley, is Lila here? Michaela Bullock, Emma Dye. Yes, come and stand right here. Ella Beaver. I'll slow down a little. Anna Dunn. Isabella Drotter Chester. Ella Morton. Alex Armstrong, Brooke Notowich, Nora Hagewood, Reese Brower, Haley Kate Anderson, Scarlett Cowles, Elena Johnson, Sophia Ruhr, I'm sure I did that, Allie Brignoli, Madeline Perkowski, Reagan Stump, Sophia Foley, Anna Hatcher, Mary Stiles Finley, Alex Smith, Josie Parker, Elise Beaver, and Mary Hancock. And Ms. Perkowski, if you'll come on up, please. Is there anybody else that we need to recognize as far as coaches, adults? Thank you so much. And I congratulate each and everyone. Now, here's your challenge. I know that y'all have taken sports team pictures before. We need 2 rows. So y'all can help us out by getting into 2 rows. Congratulations.
Yep. There you go.
I'm going to stand behind you a little bit.
See if y'all can sort this.
One more. Cameron.
Slide it down, slide it down.
Okay, everybody ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, masks down. Just briefly. You can actually take them all the way off your face. You don't have like a beard. All right. 1, 2, 3. One more. Okay, mask back on. Awesome. Thank you.
Yes. And as always, once we're done recognitions, you are free to go. As much as you may want to see the meeting. Now, one of the focuses this school year has been on making connections, and that's really our theme. How are we allowing our students to make connections during the school day? How are teachers making connections with those students on a personal level? Because we know with dealing with this pandemic, we have students who are coming back from virtual world, and that's something that they're starving for. And we got to make sure that's a meaningful experience for them. Tonight, I have the pleasure of recognizing one of our staff members who's gone above and beyond to provide an opportunity for our students. So October's employee that empowers is Clint Underwood of Houston High School. And I'm going to read a little bit about what Clint has done at Houston. The chess club at Houston High School begins playing in person once again. In previous years, they had utilized chess.com and played virtually. This year, enrollment has dramatically increased, with 103 members, whereas in previous years, the average number was 35. New and old players are welcome in this learning environment to advance their skills, no matter the level they begin with. The club sponsors are Clint Underwood and Sean Horan, who both are working diligently to find local competition opportunities. We are impressed that rather than watch a program go by the wayside, that Underwood stepped up and created the new club when a previous sponsor retired a few years ago. He's using his passion for chess to help create student-to-student connections every Monday after school. Mr. Underwood believes chess greatly improves one's brain power and logical thinking skills, problem solving, and memory, all while having fun with your friends. He's taught at Houston High School for 8 years and worked as a librarian for 13 years. He received his master's in library and information science from the University of Alabama, a master's in theological studies from Samford University, and a bachelor's degree in English from the University of Arkansas. We are thankful that you serve our students, that you work at Houston High School, and we're proud of what you're doing. You listen to my message, and you're helping students thrive and succeed, and we couldn't hope for anything better. So tonight, we recognize you and honor you. you so much.
Thank you so much.
And this concludes our recognition, so you're also free to go.
We're now on to the reports area of the agenda. First up is the TLN update. Mr. Strain?
Thank you. Tomorrow, the Tennessee General Assembly will convene for its third special legislative session of the year. Issues related to the COVID-19 pandemic will be addressed and are expected to include masking and contact tracing in schools, vaccinations, independent health departments, and executive power to implement health mandates. Additionally, non-COVID related House Bill 9002 has been filed. If passed, the bill would allow school board elections to be conducted on a partisan basis. The Germantown Board of Education opposes House Bill 9002 for several reasons, including the board's concern that partisan school board elections will divert the focus of school board elections from education policy to immaterial partisan disputes. Earlier this month, the Tennessee Department of Education announced that it intends to review the Basic Education Program, or BEP, which is the state's public education funding formula. The review will include 18 topical subcommittees reporting to a central steering committee of policymakers exploring what is being called a student-centered investment strategy. Members of the public may apply to become a subcommittee member through the department's website. The board encourages strong public education advocates to apply. Additionally, the Tennessee Department of Education is holding 8 regional public town halls addressing the state's review of the BEP. Each town hall will take place in person and will also be live streamed. The town hall for the Southwest region, which includes GMSD, will be held Thursday, October 28th at the National Civil Rights Museum, beginning at 5:30 p.m. A link to the live stream is available on the department's website. Later in the fall, the department will also provide an opportunity for public comment through a formal survey. In federal news, 9 funding bills, including legislation for the Department of Education, have been released. The bills include $98.4 billion in funding for the department, an increase of $24.9 billion over the 2021 fiscal year. One bill includes $820 million to increase the number of qualified, well-trained mental health professionals in schools, including school counselors, social workers, psychologists, or other mental health professionals. Additionally, ahead of the expected authorization of the COVID vaccine for children ages 5 to 11, the Biden administration says the vaccine will be distributed to school-based clinics as well as pediatricians' offices, pharmacies, and other sites. Federal government will also launch a program helping school districts start school-based vaccination sites by matching districts with vaccine providers. The Biden administration's plan, however, does not mention making vaccines mandatory for school attendance. In legal news, on September 30th, 2021, State Senator Katrina Robinson was found guilty on 4 or 5 counts of wire fraud related to the use of federal grant money. Sentencing is set for January 5th, 2022. The Senator Robinson has filed a motion seeking an acquittal or new trial. State Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally has called for Senator Robinson to resign her seat, but Senator Robinson has not made a decision on whether to do so. Senator Robinson still faces federal charges in another case in which she's charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering. Additionally, on October 22nd, 2021, State Senator Brian Kelsey was indicted in the United States District Court for the Middle District of Tennessee on federal campaign finance charges arising out of his 2016 run for Tennessee's 8th Congressional District in the United States House of Representatives. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Strain. Now for the chairman's report. Mr. Strain reports he attended the GMC PTO Lunch and Learn, Dogwood Family Movie Night, student-directed one-act plays at Houston High School, Forest Hill Elementary's charity basketball game, Houston versus Arlington football game, and Haunted Houston. He also served on the Master Facility Plan Committee. Ms. Landers reports she met with an alderman and attended Germantown Education Commission. She also participated in the Germantown Municipal Council PTO Lunch and Learn. Mr. Curry reports he attended the Germantown Municipal Council PTO Lunch and Learn, National Walk to School Day at Riverdale, Forest Hill October's PTO meeting, Germantown Chamber of Commerce October Luncheon, the TSBA October Legal Lunch, in which the subject was board member ethics, Jesse Owens Invitational Cross Country Race, West Tennessee Regional Championship Cross Country Race, and the Tennessee Elementary and Middle School Cross Country Championships in Knoxville. Ms. Griffith reports she met with an alderman and attended the Houston Middle School, Forest Hill Elementary School, and Riverdale PTO meetings. She also attended Houston High School Theater student-directed one-act plays, Houston Middle and High School football games, the SPED Technology Seminar, Forest Hill Elementary's charity basketball tournament, Houston Middle School and Riverdale Elementary School basketball jamboree at Bartlett High School, and Houston Middle School's 10th annual Haunted Houston. Ms. Oaf reports she attended TSBA's chairman workshop, 2 band competitions in Huntington, Tennessee and Paragould, Arkansas, Houston and Arlington football game, and the student-directed one-act plays at Houston High School. Last week, the school board reviewed the updated master facilities plan for the district. This 5-year plan is updated annually by committee and provides guidance for future capital needs. It contains a wealth of information. Inside the report, information on the history of the district, enrollment, programs, zoning, facility needs, funding sources, and so much more is included. I encourage our families to review this document and see what new facts they learn about our district, and I thank the team that worked so hard to make it happen. This month, I attended the TSBA Chairman's Workshop in Nashville. It was a wonderful session of learning and networking. Included was time to share our experiences and struggles over the last year or so. We were able to encourage one another and learn from each other new and better ways to run meetings, lead the board, and build trust. I am thankful for the opportunity to meet with so many excellent chairmen from across our state. But one thing that became abundantly evident over this workshop is how blessed I am to work alongside the ladies and gentlemen of this Germantown Board of Education. Not all districts have healthy, functioning school boards. The people on this dais are passionate about students. They care about public education, and they serve with selflessness, humility, and thoughtfulness. Thank you all for your integrity and for your service. It is an honor to serve with you. And that concludes the chairman's report. Mr. Jones, if you would share the financial report.
Sure. Good evening. You have your financial reports for the month ending September 30, 2021. First on the balance sheet, looking at total assets, liabilities, and fund balance. In the school operating fund, we have $17.4 million. Federal projects, $2,000. In the cafeteria fund, $407,000. Capital projects, $1.8 million. Health insurance, $1.4 million. OPEB trust, $4.2 million. And the general fixed asset account group, $118.2 million. And just a few comments on the statement of revenues and expenditures. In the federal projects fund, we spent $1.1 million in ESSER 2.0 funding, which represented 24% of the total budget. And the cafeteria fund, I think our best month ever, SFE, reported a net income of $123,000. And in the OPEB trust fund, year-to-date, unrealized losses totaled $42,000. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Now for the superintendent's report. Mr. Manuel?
As you mentioned, Mr. Cathy has worked hard with that facilities planning, and so I thought it was a valuable time that the board got to see some of the key points and pullouts. I thought that would be a good use of the superintendent's report so that families who watch this could hear some of those details and information. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Cathy to talk about some of the highlights in the master's facility plan.
Thank you, Mr. Emanuel. Ed, I'll echo what Ms. Oaf said at our most recent work session. We did present the facilities, master facilities plan to the school board. That's a collaborative effort between all of the committee members, bringing all different types of data and information and input and feedback to the table. And I would encourage and echo Ms. Oaf, anyone in the community to view that document. There's a wealth of information, a whole lot to learn about the school district. In that document, that annual report will include historical and current enrollment, demographic information, as well as future projections on enrollment, improvements and renovations project completed at all of our schools, including detailed breakdowns of how much has been spent at each school, what projects have been completed at each school, list of prioritized improvements that the districts may make, the funding sources for capital improvement projects, which we'll go over in just a little bit, but I think it's important for the community to know how we fund these projects, and a 5-year plan for addressing facilities needs in the future with a list of prioritized projects. So this is generally the time of year where we take the time to celebrate our projects that have either begun or were completed during the previous summer, in this case the summer of 2021. So we didn't complete this project in FY 2021, but we did get it started, the Houston Middle School edition. This project scheduled to last through the fall of 2022. It will add 6 classroom spaces, a gym, and a new secure entrance to the Houston Middle campus. The new spaces will add world-class amenities to the school, science labs, art spaces, and a home for the Houston Middle Band while addressing current and future capacity needs. So there's one project that's gotten started. It's an exciting project, and we are really close to pouring foundation. That's probably going to take place in early November. And once that happens, things start to get exciting as the building comes out of the ground. So we're looking forward to reaching that milestone on the project. Also at Houston Middle School, while we are adding an addition, we are also renovating the existing building, and I don't think that needs to go unmentioned or unnoticed because it was well in need. So at the existing building, we are doing a ceiling tile and grid renovation. Similar, if you have children or students at our elementary schools, we've done that project at Riverdale, at Dogwood, at Farmington. Of course, we built Forest Hill with brand new ceiling tile and grid and LED lights. And so this is our next to last school to do this project at. Houston High is the only one that remains. But this building has already gotten a complete ceiling tile and grid makeover in 2 of the halls. Over fall break, we did complete a whole lot of work. If you rode by Houston Middle School, you saw the cranes out there, you saw the work being performed. We completed the replacement of all of the rooftop units on the 300 hall. We also installed all of the new LED lights on the 2 remaining halls that had not received them, so those LED lights are now in place over fall break. And we also, this past summer, completely renovated our 2 student restroom bays at Houston Middle School. So those are all renovations that have taken place or will take place moving forward. Our plan with the rooftop units is every time we get a break, try to knock out a hall or 2 halls as much as we can so that we are making it easier on ourselves going into next summer, the summer of 2022, to finish that project out. The Houston High softball field has begun. Now we're in the very beginning phases. It began a few weeks ago, but dirt work is underway, and that's a really exciting project for our softball team and for the Houston High School campus. Other projects we completed in the summer of 2021, bathroom renovations. We completed bathroom renovations, and this is a nice graphic to kind of show where we've come. So this past summer, we completed bathroom renovations at Farmington. We actually finished those out. So if you look at the light green here, these are the projects that were completed this summer. The dark green represents the ones that were completed in the past. So as you can see here, we're now completely finished with our student bathrooms at Dogwood, Farmington, and Forest Hill. Of course, we built new. Riverdale, we completed a lot of bathroom renovations this summer at Riverdale. We really only have the kindergarten student bay left at Riverdale, which is just 2 bathroom banks. Houston Middle School was completed in full this past summer 2021, and we did also complete bathroom renovations at Houston High School outside the auditorium and gym and outside the cafeteria. We still have a ways to go there, but we are making progress, which is exciting. We also did some outdoor spaces. So at Dogwood Elementary, we finished out an outdoor classroom, and that was a public-private partnership that the school really worked towards, and we came in to help match and do what we do to ensure that project made it to the finish line. And Forest Hill has also the beginnings, if you ride past on the way out, of a learning garden where there's fencing on this side of the building, and they've started doing some plantings. That was also a public-private partnership that has been driven for about a year. So that's also underway. So we did complete some outdoor classroom and learning spaces. We also completed, this one was out of necessity, a fire alarm replacement at Houston High School. We've still got some work left to do there as far as programming and finishing out devices, but the system is functional now. We still got to close that project out, but that was one that was done out of necessity as the old system became defunct. And I'll finish up, and this is an exciting milestone. We're approaching $100 million invested in our facilities since 2014. So we've invested $96 million in our facilities. You can see a breakdown here where 47% of those dollars have come from the city of Germantown, 12.5% from the Shelby County Commission. We used our ESSER funds in ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 for 9.4% of those funds to go towards capital projects. We've also had private donors generous enough to contribute to our projects for 2.1%. And then the GMSD General Fund has absorbed 29.2% of that $96 million. So in dollars, what that looks like to the community, of that $96 million that we've spent, $45 million of that has come from the city of Germantown. $28 million of that has come from the Germantown Municipal School District General Fund. The Shelby County Commission, that's $12 million. The federal government with those ESSER 2 and 3 funds is $9 million. And then private donors account for right around $2 million of those funds that have been spent on our projects. Over our next 2 years, if the funding is available, and I always stress this because people look at this and say, great, these are the projects that are going to be completed. No, this is not a funding plan. These are the projects that we will do if the funding is available. This is a prioritized list of projects. And I also like to put an asterisk next to this, that this list could change. The Houston High School fire alarm was not on our top list, but it moved there when the old system became defunct. So this is a working document. It's a living, breathing document, and we change as needed. But these are the next 2 years of projects, and if you pull up the plan, you can see all the next 5 years kind of laid out, prioritized, but always subject to change and always funding dependent. And I'll turn it back over to Mr. Manuel.
And I will echo that one of the key components when we talk about change is we're excited about the planning work that's happening for the property behind Houston High School. And as that comes online and we share that with the board and we finally see the vision that we have for that property, that is definitely going to change this plan as far as how everything moves. So you talk about it being a changing document. We know the priorities we have as far as maintenance and when roofs need to be replaced and HVACs and painting, but as far as those visionary things that are going to make us competitive with other school districts and make this still be the place to come for school, we know that there are going to be some requests and some future plans that we have, and I'm excited for this board to see some of those and help give us that, help us create that vision. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Cathy, and thank you, Mr. Manuel. We're now here to the citizens to be heard section of the agenda. Ms. Subramani, are there any citizens to be heard?
I don't have any.
Is there anyone in the audience who has a form that needs to be submitted? Seeing none, we'll move to the consent agenda. Included in the consent agenda is the approval of the minutes, review and revision of policies, second reading, review and revision of policies, first reading, miscellaneous fiscal year 2021-22 budget amendments, and approval of the 2021 LEA compliance report. The chair will entertain a motion.
I move to approve all items on the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
A second.
A motion was made by Ms. Landers and seconded by Ms. Griffith. Ms. Subramani, if you would call roll.
Mr. Strain,
Yes.
Ms. Landers,
Yes.
Mr. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Griffith,
Yes.
Ms. Wolf.
Yes.
Thank you.
There are no board action items on the agenda for this evening, so we move on to announcements. There are plenty of those. Our next work session is November 16th. Our next board business meeting is November the 30th, with also the work session for the December meeting. So that is 2 meetings, 1 evening. Upcoming days, October 29th is the Houston White Station football game. It was not going to be a home game. It is now a home game. So if you would like to see our Houston Mustangs play, I think this may be the last opportunity for the season. So come on out and see our Mustangs play. Election Day is a day off for students. That's November 2nd, as well as Veterans Day on November 11th. The board will be attending the Tennessee State Board Association's convention on November 18th through the 21st. The Houston High School Theater will be performing Emma the Musical. Performances are November 12th through 15th. There are matinee and evening performances, so check those out. And then Thanksgiving break is November 22nd through 26th for students. Is that anybody else have any announcements? Are we good? Okay. This meeting is adjourned.